Ladies and gents, home switch reaction. This is why does the West use Arabic numerals? Well, that's not history matters. By Arabic numerals, you mean Hindu numerals, means Indian numerals. So yeah, Arabic basically took that, and from there, Arabic merchants went to Europe and basically West. They said, oh, look at that, this is kind of better, and they just assume it's an Arabic numerals. But yeah, because it's better, I guess, compared to the Roman numerals. But yeah. Or maybe it feels like that to us. I mean, obviously it's probably better, right? That's why everybody uses. But obviously when we see X, we're like, what the fuck? But yeah, even though Roman numerals, people use that as some kind of exotic numerals, right? Whenever somebody wants to name something, it's like this X. Like invariably WrestleManias end with Roman numerals. WrestleMania 13, so something XXS or some weird shit like that. But yeah. Well, let's watch it. Why does the Western world, who are proudly descended from the Romans, use the Arabic numerals system instead of the Roman one? You can find out why when that change happened in this short and simple documentary. I guess because trade probably basically in the year of 1000 around that, right? Muslim world was kind of Arabic world was kind of at its height, right? Many discoveries, many things happened around that time. That's why third of the stars that has name has Arabic names. That's why algebra, alchemy, everything has Arabic names. So around that time, I don't know when West started to use Arabic numerals, but I'm guessing it must be around that time. And obviously, if you want to trade with, I guess, Arabic countries or whatever, you want to use that number, or maybe they just found that to be better or something. I don't know. It's gonna be fun. History Matters is a great channel. I like reacting to this channel. It saves time. If I don't have much time to make videos, I'm like, yeah, let's do this small history video. It's like just 4 minutes or so. So let's watch it.
As you'll know, the Western world predominantly uses Arabic numerals for mathematics. But it never used to. For millennia, Roman numerals were used. But why were they replaced? What led to Europe and the Western world adopting Arabic numerals? Throughout the life of the Roman Empire and the millennium after its collapse in the West, Roman numerals were the only game in town. Side note, in case you're wondering, much of Eastern Europe used the Cyrillic numeral system of the Bulgarian Empire until Peter the Great's reforms in the 18th century. Anyway, whilst Roman numerals might appear to be complicated when trying to use them in mathematics, everyone in Europe had only ever
I'm not gonna lie. When it comes to Roman numerals, I only know of X, I, V, right? Because I just means 1, right? V just means 5, and X just means 10, right? And you use that accordingly somehow. But I don't know about M, C, C. I didn't even know that those things exist, right? I always assume you just add more and more X if you want to increase the number.
Known them. It was obvious to everyone back then that Xiv plus Xv equals L, obviously.
There's L too.
Aside, this had been the way that things had been done for thousands of years, so why did they change?
1480.
Arabic numeral was called so because they came to Europe through trade with the Arabic world. They actually originated in
1480. But now that's surprising. Because by then, I don't think Arabic world was at its height. I guess around 1200s it started to plummet. So I assume there's going to be around like year 1000 to 1200 or something like that, where West started to take on, because Arabic world was at its height. So you do business with them because they are, I guess, running high. But 1400, that's surprising.
India, by the way, were first introduced to Europe in the 9th century. And in fact, Pope Sylvester II was heavily in favour of their use, but they never took off. It wasn't until the 13th century that Arabic numerals began to spread to merchants. Some, or perhaps much of this, was down to the work of Leonardo of Pisa, better known as Fibonacci, who basically wrote a mathematical textbook which argued that Arabic numerals were superior. Fibonacci's arguments for adopting were convincing, and many merchants in Pisa adopted the new system, at least temporarily, since it was soon afterwards banned. There were two main reasons for this, but also why it took so long for Arabic numerals to be adopted in the rest of Europe. One, the new system was open to fraud. With Roman numerals, merchants would use a flick with the last I in a number to mark that it was the last one, something hard to tamper with. Whereas anyone could turn a 3 into an 8 and make it look like somebody owed more money than they did. And reason number 2, because the system was imported from the Islamic world, it made Christian leaders and merchants uneasy, who often at the very least saw the use of it as being unchristian. And in the eyes of church leaders, it also promoted trade with the Islamic world.
Obviously. I mean, is there anything throughout the history where religion didn't just seep into things, right? It's from the Muslim world, so would Jesus approve? Has that ever been in any religion, right? where something happens, something scientific related, maybe something just, it's economically better, or would our religion approve?
Which was seen as a no-no. This setback took another 2 centuries to overcome when Arabic numerals started popping up all over Europe. Renaissance universities were quick to start instruction in Arabic numerals, yet they took centuries to spread, because bankers and merchants didn't attend university and so were instructed in the better understood Roman numerals. And another reason was because of cultural conservatism. Roman numerals had been used literally for millennia and were good enough for the Romans, so why change anything? It was only when the Renaissance...
And obviously Byzantine Empire was still a thing around this time, I guess, right? Yeah. So even they're like, we are Romans ourselves, why would we use something different?
Really took off and old institutions were for the first time questioned that the use of Roman numerals were queried. The new leaders in Italy were students of the Renaissance, and many, like the Medici banking family, brought Arabic numerals with them. For them, it was the efficiency in mathematics. As an example, we'll do 13 times 13 in Roman numerals. 2 columns, one of the numbers being multiplied in each, add a new line, halve the number in the left column and double the number in the right. You keep going until the halved number gets to 1, then cross out any rows where the number in the left column is even. Add the right column together and there's your answer, hence why we got rid of them. Thereafter, leaving only monarchs in the occasional calendar still using Roman numerals.
I mean, yeah, Renaissance time, right? Medici family, basically Leonardo, Da Vinci at the time too. Yeah, around that time, obviously, it was Renaissance, right? Thinking was its highest. Obviously, around that time, people are going to think rationally, like, yeah, but it's about efficiency. Why won't we use this?
I hope you enjoyed this episode, and a special thanks to all my Patreon supporters: James Bizanet, Marvin Cassow, A Man of Culture, Danny Maloney, John Bizquez, Rob Waterhouse, Mo, Aaron the White Swan, George Spinning 3, David Silverbill, Lexi Schwinn, and...
Who are these two? I'm guessing every History Matters ending scene has some significance, right? Obviously it goes over my head, so if anybody knows what is this last scene, who these two are, definitely comment, right? Every video I see something, right? Sometimes I recognize that what is like, with that Russia video, right, where Stalin was painting or picture type of thing. I understood that, but most of them just goes over my head, like, who are these people? Yeah, alright. So obviously it took off, then it didn't, then again in the Renaissance with Medici film and shit, it just started took off again. Yeah, so it was just better, right? Arabic numerals are kind of easier, right? Better in that way. I don't want to say anything to people who just get pissed off, but yeah, better in that way. It was much easier. So one thing's for damn sure, throughout the history you can see that, like, doesn't matter how much you try to ban something, doesn't matter how much you try to stop something, eventually if something is better, that will become the mainstream thing, right? Doesn't matter how much you try to stop it. Like science doesn't stop, right? I mean, growth, economy, science, that doesn't stop. If something is better, eventually people will start to use that as a primary thing. Because why wouldn't you? It's just better. So yeah. Alright, well, that was Why Does the West Use Indian Hindu Numerals by the channel History Matters. If you like my reaction, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time.